Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot.
You do your best, but it's not quite there.
Fortnite Battle Royale. The objective is always the same: make it to the end and obtain Victory Royale whatever means necessary, all while avoiding the storm. However, sometimes it is completely out of your hands. Today we're going to be talking about the hardest to win end games within Fortnite Battle Royale. Now you might be lucky and always win your game sitting on top of a hill or on a flat piece of land, but there are actually some really unfortunate places to have those heart-racing final battles. So at first I thought about making this a top 5 video, but I thought this video would be better suited if I were to naturally flow through all the places we're going to mention. Now the storm is a thing of beauty. It keeps the entire gameplay flowing smoothly, but after a couple of rings you better hope it doesn't end up in any of these places. Now just a disclaimer, none of these are in any order. They're all pretty hard to win, but you guys can make up your mind, and I want you guys to tell me down below what you guys think is the hardest end game to win in Fortnite Battle Royale. But with that being said, let's get right into it. So first up, we're going to be talking about Wailing Woods. Now the reason this place is so difficult to win in is because there are a lot of trees. Obviously it is a woods, but there's an excessive amount of trees here that just doesn't combine well with the combat that is required to win this game. Now when I say this, I'm not lying. There's literally a tree around you at every single point in time, and this leads to multiple problems. One of those being that it gives enemies multiple options and opportunities to really sneak up behind you and shoot you from the side or shoot you from the back with a shotgun or with a sniper rifle. Now sure, you can try to build up, but you can only build about 2 floors before the tiniest branch prevents you from building that big luxurious wall of yours. Now one might say you can avoid this by building over the trees, but that isn't really a viable option either, because there are so many trees that you can't see past them, so all you can see from the top floor is pretty much just a bunch of dark green. So from my experience at least, it is very difficult to win here, and you can only really get the advantage if you get to that small little area where there's that maze and just build on that little structure in the middle. Now next up, I want to throw a curveball at you guys, and we're going to talk about the cargo bay. Now the cargo bay itself is pretty damn small, but it is very deadly if your end game ends up here. So the reason this is difficult is because the entire cargo bay goes 5 floors into the ground, and there's so many empty cargo boxes that it gives your enemies multiple opportunities to just hide in, blocks your vision, and really just messes up your building, which is going to be a following theme here in all the places we're going to visit. So even if a small portion of your end game ends up around the cargo bay, there's going to be someone hiding here, which is going to just cause a headache because they're going to have the element of surprise even though they probably don't know what they're doing. Now the last place we're going to visit, obviously you guys knew it was going to be here, probably the hardest place to ever win in, is Loot Lake. And I'm not talking about the half circles where half of the thing is in the water, half of the thing is on the land. I'm talking about these circles where it is completely in the water. The reason this is hard to win is obviously because you can't really build here and you're very slow in the water. Now it's not impossible to build into the water. You just get those really small walls that build halfway into the floor, and you're gonna have to go around that, but most of the time that causes a panic, and you just start panic building, and then there's 2 enemies shooting at you from different distances. Someone might have the high advantage, but you can just rocket out their platform beneath. They're gonna fall to the floor, you're gonna have a gunfight with your scars, and overall it just doesn't end up for a fun time. Now like I just said in the cargo bay, is that there is a theme here, and that is that if you take away the elements of building, it really just adds a randomness to the gunfight and who's gonna win them. And that is because building and fighting are pretty much one and the same. You can't have one of them without the other. They're intertwined, which means if you take one away, it's gonna lead to complete randomness and a little bit of BS, at least from your point of view and not from the guy who won. Now even if your end games end up in any of these places, it's not the worst thing in the world. Even if you win those end games completely out of luck, you get a bigger than average adrenaline boost because there was that element of, oh no, I don't know how I'm gonna win this. A lot of the times it's really random and you start panicking, and if you win, it gives you more joy than if you won at say Pleasant Park or or Retail Row. Now before I end this video, I want to give this place an honorable mention. We're talking about Moisty Mire, and in itself, Moisty Mire might seem like a bad place because obviously it's a swamp, but even though it sort of seems big on the map, it's not really that bad if half of your circle gets here, because you still have the hills on the left side by the prison, and most of the time the person there is going to win before the circle even gets all the way in the swamp. Now the reason I still wanted to mention this is because in the new map overlay released by Fortnite, we can see that the Moisty Mire swamp seems to have expanded all the way as far as to the prison. Now the reason this might be cause for concern is because the end game could end up here, and because it's bigger, that means it could be more problematic if you end up here. So we're gonna have to wait until the new update drops this week, and I'm gonna pray that it doesn't end up being such a bad place like Wailing Woods or Loot Lake. But there you guys have it. That was today's Fortnite video. I actually had lots of fun doing this. Tell me down below if I missed any of your spots or any of your opinions on what you think is the hardest to win endgame. Also tell me if you agree with mine. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe for future Fortnite videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.